Hello everyone. So in this video we will talk about volume. This will be an important video because volume analysis is very important. So in this video we will talk about our normal volume, and in the next video we will talk about the volume profile. So uh, just a recap for the previous videos that we talked about patterns and uptrend, downtrend. As you can see in the morning, I showed you an example of Reliance Industries. This is a very good example. Here we can see downtrend, which then followed by a correction, then another downtrend, then we have a reversal, and now which looks like a uh, correction and a move up again. But in this example, I wanted to show this example because this contains everything which we have learned in the previous videos. We learned that how after a downtrend, the first point it turns, it becomes support, and then the first point it turns again becomes resistance. Same happens here, downtrend, first turn, this becomes support, this becomes resistance, and so on. And in this example, I also showed some patterns, like this is a bearish flag, here we have a rectangle formation, here we have an ascending triangle, now it looks like to be a cup and handle pattern. So I hope you have seen the previous videos and have a general idea about a downtrend, uptrend, support, resistance, and the patterns. So in this video we will learn about volume. So let's start. Um okay, so this is the volume, which represents that how many shares have been traded in a particular time. So for example, in on 5 June 9:15 a.m. there have been 5.98 million shares traded. So this shows that how many shares have been traded in a particular time. Uh, so what we are looking is for big volumes, which can help us identify a breakout or breakdown. So basically how the volume works, let's start from the beginning. So the first thing which we have to look is that the price is supported by the volume or not. For example, if there is a candlestick like this, and then there is a candlestick like this, and then there is a candlestick something like this. So the volume should be corresponding to the uh, the spread of the candle. For example, if this in this the first candle, the spread of the candle is very huge, so the volume should be big. The next candle also the spread is big, and the price is increasing, so the volume should be even more. Now the third candle, uh, the spread is low, so the volume should be low. But sometimes what we find is even the small spread candle will have a very large volume. For example, this candle, if this candle has bigger volume than the previous two candles, these two candles, this means that there is something wrong and we should get alert, because a high candle, high volume bar candle should have a bigger spread in the candlestick. So what I'm saying is that if the price, the candlestick is this big, and then we see a low volume, this means that there is something wrong, and there hasn't been actually this much buying because the volume bar is low. On the other hand, sometimes we find very small candles and the volume will be huge. So this is a negative sign that there is something wrong. It doesn't actually mean that the price is gonna come down, but the first we call this an anomaly. This means that the price, the candlestick, is not matching with the volume below this. So this is an anomaly. So if we have a candle which is big, which has a big spread, that it opened here and closed here, so the volume should be high because the price has increased a lot, so the volume should be there to support the price. If the volume is not supporting the price, this means that something is wrong. And same goes the other way. If the candle spread is huge and the volume is less, that means also there is something wrong. It works in the other way as well, that if the candlestick is small and the volume is huge, that means there is something wrong. This could mean, so what can this mean? For example, we have an uptrend and we have candles forming like this, and then we finally have a candle here and the volume is something like this. So this means that these two candles are correct because the volume is proportionally good as compared to the candle. And then this candle, we have price increasing and volume increasing. But this is a candle which we have some problem because now the volume is very high, but the candle spread is very low. So this could mean that the retail traders, after seeing the previous action, they are ready to buy and they are putting in a lot of buy orders and there is a lot of buying pressure, but the price action, the price spread of this candle is very small because this means that, and the volume is huge. This means that someone is selling from the top. That is why the price was not able to move much higher. We can know this only when the volume is big and the price action of this candle is very small. Otherwise, if there was actually this much buying pressure, then the candle would have been a big spread candle and not a small candle. So this, I hope this small concept is clear, that the candlestick should match the volume below it. If the candle is big, the volume should be big. If the candle is small, then the volume should be less, as relative to the candle. So this is the first concept. Now the second concept, which a lot of people are confused about, is the green bar and the blue and the red bar. So I must clear that there is no such thing as a buying volume or a selling volume. The simple concept is, whenever a trade is happening, there is always one buyer and always one seller. So there cannot possibly be more sellers than more buyers. If there are more buyers than sellers, then their order will be pending below and they will not be filled because the price will keep moving up as the sellers and buyers meet at one place. So there cannot be a candle which represents that there are more sellers. This is not possible. The sellers are equal to the buyers because someone cannot sell if there is no buyer. Now what this color represent? This represents that but if there is no, now the question is that if there are no more buyers than sellers, then how the price is increasing? This is what we call the aggressiveness of the buyers, that they are taking out the sell orders faster than the sell orders are coming, so the price is moving up. But there is no volume, which is a buy volume, because let's say if there are orders like this in the buy side and there are orders like this in the sell side, the point where they meet is the only trade which is happening, which is represented in the volume. These orders which are present there below and this orders, they are of no use because the trade is only happening at the point where the buyer and the sellers meet. So I hope this concept is clear, that there is no buy volume or sell volume. The volume is just volume. It represents that how many shares have been traded. Now the question is how the price moves. The price is moved by the aggressiveness of the buyers and the sellers. Remember this point, that price is moved by the aggressiveness of the buyers or the sellers. If the sellers are able to take out the buy orders before they are placed, that means that the sellers are aggressive and the price is being pushed down. So whenever these orders are being taken out, the buy orders, the volume bar keeps increasing. So I think 2 points are clear as of now. That first is that the candle spread should be proportional to the volume. This means that if the candle spread is big, the volume should be big. If the candle spread is low, then the volume should be low. And the second is that there is no such thing as buyer's volume or seller's volume. Volume is just volume, and the price movement is decided by the aggressiveness of the bulls or the bears. Now these 2 points are clear. So now let's talk about the type of candles. Basically only two types of candles are important: the hammer candle and the inverted hammer, or doji, or whatever you want to call it. So these two candles are the most important ones, as these represent buying pressure and selling pressure. So for example, if the price is moving up, and let's say at this point there is some resistance that we have identified from our support and resistance analysis, and at this point we get a candle like this, which has narrow spread and a top wick, and it also has a big volume. Remember this, that this must have a big volume, which represents that the price was pushing up in this candle, but at the end of the candle the sellers were very aggressive and they pushed the price down again. So the volume will be high because there was buying pressure in the beginning as the price. So if this candle, something like this candle is formed, this means that at some point in this candle the price reached till here. So this means that the buying pressure was there, but at the end of this candle the pressure was stronger from the top. That is why we get a candle like this and a wick on the top, which will be represented by the top, which will be represented by a big volume, because we had a pressure from both the side, but the sellers were aggressive, so we get a candle like this. The inverse of this will be the hammer, that the price is dropping and we get a hammer candle, which represents that the buyers are strong. The buyers are very strong at the below levels and they push the price back up again, and this will be usually found with the big volume. But if it is not there with big volume, that means that this is not a good indicator as we wanted it to. So I think this point is also clear, that hammer candle and the inverted hammer candle. Now we talk about our basic point of the uptrend and downtrend. So the first point is in a market is accumulation, as we all know. The second point is an uptrend, and the third point is either more accumulation in an uptrend or the distribution phase, and then we have a downtrend again. So if we look at in the chart, the price action will look something like this. First we will have let's say we have a downtrend, and then we will start to get some buying pressure. So in this, let's draw these as well. So at the lower levels, we'll have lower wicks. Some of these will have upper wicks as well, because there will be a resistance. So this represents first the downward movement, and then at the bottom, remember this point, at the bottom we have a buying climax, that there will be a lot of buying at these levels, and we will see a lot of bottom wicks and lot of high volume area. And then we will move on to a accumulation period, and then we will have a breakout from the accumulation phase, moving to the top. At the top we have a selling climax. In this we will get sideways movement, and the wicks will be on the top side, representing selling pressure from the top, and the volume will be high because there is a lot of selling pressure from the top, which is being absorbed by the buying, but the selling pressure is more. That's why we get a inverted hammer candle. So let's look at some charts. I think it is easier to explain in the charts. So here I have a Bitcoin chart which I wanted to show. So let's talk about the buying climax first. Now we have to imagine the market as a big force. So whenever we see a first sign, we do not enter, because it takes a lot of momentum to stop the previous trend. What I mean by this is that if there is a previous downtrend, it won't suddenly halt. It will go up a bit and then it will come down again. It will do something like this. Then the trend will stop. It will never do something like this. V-shape recoveries are very, very rare. We do not bet on these. Usually the market takes time to slow its momentum down. So what it does, it starts making smaller swings, and then finally we enter accumulation period, and then we get a breakout, and then we go at the top. At the top we will have something like this, because as the buying pressure is there, the market won't reverse like this. We'll have some small swings, then we'll have a distribution phase, and then the market will come down again. So I hope all these points are clear. So first point was that the volume should be proportional to the candle. That means the big spread candle should have a bigger volume, and a small spread candle should have a smaller volume. Second point was that there is no such thing as buying volume or selling volume. Third point, which we talked about, is the hammer candle and the hammer candle. And now the fourth point, we talked about buying climax and selling climax. So now we will look them at the chart and see how they look. So this is a Bitcoin chart, and on this is 10th May. I just wanted to show this because it is a good representation of a buying climax. As you can see that we had a accumulation at this point, then the market went up. At this point the market turned down again, but as soon as it started coming down, we see a lot of lower wicks. As you can see, there's a lot of them. And look at the volume is huge. This candle, if we see just this candle, exactly this candle, you can see that the spread is so small and the volume is above average, and we have a lower wick. So what some people do is they see this candle and they'll buy. No, we don't do that. So what we do is, when we see a lower wick, we should get ready to buy, but we do not buy. And then we see more of these lower wicks, and the volume is also big. As you can see, both in these candles we get a lower wick and the volume is huge. And then we see this accumulation area. So we have a downtrend, we have the buying climax. This is the buying climax, that we have a lower wicks and supported by huge volume. And then we have a accumulation phase, and then we have a breakout at this candle. So if we have to draw support and resistance, the first point of turning the market is this, the second point is this, and we get a clear range showing us that there is a selling at the top of resistance and buying at the lower levels. How we know that this is buying by the big market players? We see the volume. If the volume is less, that means that the big players are not buying. But when the big players buy, they don't buy small quantity. They have huge funds. So when they buy, the volume will be huge, which is represented in these candles. This candle, this candle, these two candles. So then we draw a support, and then we draw a resistance, and then later we can see that the market is getting strong as it moved up, came down, and then we get a breakout at this candle. So this is how a buying climax looks. Usually the market, when we see this first pin bars, we do not buy. We wait for a resistance to form, we wait for a support to form, and at the breakout we buy. So this is an example of a buying climax. Then we have a uptrend. So for one example of Tata Consumer Products, which I think is a good example for selling climax, is this area. This area. As you can see, we have these wicks, lot of them. All of these candles have top wicks, and in this candle particular, we have a huge volume as well. And finally, there we have a breakout. So what we do is, as you can see, we had a big candle represented by a big spread candle. So this is a positive sign. But as you look at the second candle, let me show them by the arrow. So in the first place, we had a breakout from this level. So we had a breakout from this level, supported by above average volume, which is good. Then we get this huge candle. Let's say this is the first candle and this is the second candle. This is the first volume, this is the second volume. Now if we see that the first candle is good because it is supported by a good volume. But if we look at the second candle, this is the point we get alert because look at the spread of the candle, it is almost very less, and the volume is still huge for the amount of spread we have. I think we just have like a few rupees spread, but the volume is very, very big. So this is the point where we get alert that there is something wrong. And then we observe the market that there is another candle, this candle, that the volume is big and we have a upper wick. Then we see multiple upper wicks again in these candles, as you can see, these candles. But the point is, we do not sell at these candles. We wait for a support and resistance to form, and then we wait for a breakout. Then the price went up in this candle, but again huge selling pressure, big volume. This means that the selling pressure is there. And then we get this candle showing weakness, and then finally we had a breakout at the lower side. So this is an example of the selling climax. We get a sideways market which has upper wicks, and when the upper wicks are formed, the volume is big. So this represents a selling climax. And in the Bitcoin chart, let me pull that up again. So in the Bitcoin chart, we saw this. we saw this buying climax. As you can see, we formed a support and resistance, and we had this lot of lower wicks with huge volume. Now if you see that in the second video we talked about how much time the market trends and how much time the market is in the sideways. So this much time we spent in the sideways market while the up move was finished in this much time. Then we again went into a sideways market for a lot of time and the move was slow. In this example, we spent this much time in the distribution phase and the downfall was taken out in just single candle. So this we talked about in the second video, that how much the market spends time in the sideways market. So whenever there is a sideways market, we should watch carefully like how the wicks are forming, how is the volume going on. So this gives an idea that what is going to happen. Then we should identify support and resistance, and after the break of the resistance we enter the trade. We do not enter directly. For example, let's talk about this candle. So this is represented by a huge volume and also by a good lower wick. Now we do not buy at this level because there is no support and resistance. Maybe there is a support here and the resistance at the top. So we can only buy at the breakout. We do not buy at random levels. So for example, this is a good, this can be a good example that we had a sideways market and we saw some lower wicks as well. This lower wicks here, some here as well. But if we just bought looking at these candles, we would have lost the trade because we have to wait for the resistance to break. For example, if this candle was something like this, then we would buy and the market will keep going up. So this is the concept of volume. There is a lot more to it, but I think I have given some idea how it works. For the Reliance, let's go to the Reliance chart, for example. If we see that this is a pure selling volume, we have a big spread and a big candle as well. And then in this first candle, we see some buying because we have a lower wick and a big volume. Actually, there is a sign given in this candle as well that the spread is so small, still the volume is big. So actually, the selling is not happening much. If we compare it to this candle, there was a fall of 12.34%, 12% fall. And if we compare it to with this candle, it has a 7% fall, while the volume is almost similar. So there is something wrong, because if the selling was actually present, we'll have a big spread candle. So at this point we get alert. We do not buy, but we get alert as in what to do. Then we had this candle, a lower wick, big volume. This is a good sign. Now we have to wait for the market to form a support and resistance. Then there were another candles, these candles, and then we developed if we go to a smaller time frame, we can see more clearly that we developed a resistance at this level, and then we developed a support at this level. If we look at this particular area, and then after this breakout, we buy. Then we developed another range, and then we had a breakout. Look at this candle. This is a huge candle, and we get a gap up with 8% in this candle. So this means that the buying pressure is good. So this is a good candle because the 8% move is supported by the volume. Then we get another big candle which is supported by the volume as well. So we have to identify like this, that where is the buying happening, then we wait for support and resistance to form, and then we enter on the breakout of the support or resistance. So in this candle we add another range, and then we get a breakout at this candle. So this is a small breakout. And one thing which is important, that other than the candles which have lower wicks, the other candles in the accumulation or distribution phase will have lower volumes. For example, in the current cup and handle pattern which is forming, which is looking like a cup and handle pattern, because we have a uptrend. Now we have a rounding bottom, and then this is looking like a small retracement. But if you can see that the volume during the accumulation will be less and the volume will decline, while on the breakout the volume will be huge. So there are some other charts which were requested to me after I posted on the Telegram. So let's have a look at these charts. So this is Pfizer. Now we have to see that which are the places of accumulation and distribution. So first we have this level. If you see, we have a resistance at this level and a support at this level. Now we see that there is a selling volume at the tops and lower wicks at the bottom. So we have identified support and resistance. There are some big candles. So in the small less volume shares, we'll have some random volume spikes for some big order getting filled. So what we look is the overall scheme of the share. So now in this share, Pfizer, for example, we identified resistance here and support here, and then we get a breakout which is supported by big volume, so we buy. Now also this resistance will now act as support. So as you can see, we had a perfect bounce from this level. So this is another, for example, if you miss the buying, we can wait for retracement, and this level, then now this resistance will act as support, so we can buy here. Then we had this sideways, lot of sideways movement, upper wick, which continued to be a resistance. Then we had a breakout, but the breakout couldn't sustain, and we have a downtrend again. Now if we see this candle and this volume, I think the selling pressure is still there, and here we see some upper wicks again. So if we are looking to buy, but in this candle we see some buying. So what we do is we can draw a support line here, and at the upper wicks, these levels, we can draw a resistance, and we have to wait how the market plays. If we are looking to sell, we'll wait for a breakout to the lower side and then we go short. But if we are, let's go to a 4-hour time frame. So if we are looking to draw support and resistance, it is very easy, that this was earlier resistance, so now this becomes support, and this point was earlier support, which is now acting as a resistance. So this is our current range, and we have to wait for a breakout. If the market is in the sideways, we do not trade, and if there is a breakout to the top, we buy. If there is a breakout to the down, we buy. Other share is SBI Bank. In this, we have a downfall. This is a big volume, which is represented to this candle, but it is of no significance as it is not in the support or resistance area. Remember that the importance of the wicks or the hammer or the inverted hammer candle is more near the support and resistance, and less in between the trend. Now it is difficult to identify much trend in the State Bank as the volume is similar. But if we see that the market was coming down, and at this point we had our first area which the market was taking support, and then we had a lower, I mean upper area which the market was facing a resistance. So at this candle there was another breakdown and the momentum continued, but finally it stopped and the market reversed. But still the resistance is present. If we see the earlier resistance what was at this level, now we have a resistance at this level. So if we, but this was earlier point of resistance, now it will act as a support. So the market will come here, it will go sideways. Then we have to wait and watch whether the market is forming any pattern or is it giving a breakout to the top side, and then we buy. Then we have PVR. Okay, this is interesting. As earlier this is another small range, as you can see, small range, lower wicks, here another one. So this is an example. Now we have this accumulation, lower wicks, and then a breakout to the top with this candle. Then we have this downtrend because of the corona, and this is some accumulation here, and this is a doji candle. It has both wicks to the top and the side, so there is pressure on both sides. Now let's go to a 4-hour time frame. Now in this chart we identify there is some support here or at these levels, but the market breaks down again, so there is no buying scenario. Then the resistance is here. As you can see, the resistance line is this and the support line was this. Then we had another breakdown, some accumulation, it went, market came up, but then we see another top wick candles, the market came down again. We had more sideways movement, the market kept breaking to the lower side, and then finally we have this momentum which is now reversed. But today we got a, if we look at the daily candle, then there is a huge volume and a smaller lower wick and the green candle. This is because there was a lot of accumulation in this area. As you can see, this was an important resistance. So now the market is taking support. This is a resistance, the market is taking support. Now to enter a buy, we have to wait. We have to wait for this level. Then only we can buy at the daily time frame. Smaller time frame trades works in a similar way. And as you can see, for example, this is a downtrend. Then we have a support here and a resistance there, and then we get a breakdown and we enter short. So the principle is the same. It works same with the daily candles and same with the 30-minute candles. For example, in this candle, we should get alert. We should not instantly buy, but we should get alert that there might be a bullish move coming. So we have to be ready. So what we do in this is that we get an uptrend, then we get a small retracement. So after breaking of this small channel, we can enter long. Same with this, that we had an upside move. We draw a resistance line here. We draw a support here. And at this breakout, we enter long again. Then again, we get a breakout. We develop a small channel. And at the breakout again, we can enter. And it keeps happening. So this is how it works. Now another is Z Limited. In this we see this downtrend There is some accumulation here which will act as a selling pressure when the market comes up. Now the first point of turning is here, so this is our support, and as you can see with this candle, there is a selling pressure. This is a green candle, but this doesn't mean that there is buying. This is purely selling pressure because we have an upper wick. So after this candle, we can identify some resistance at this level, and this was a breakout, as you can see with this buying candle. So we can enter long there and make some small profit. So this is how volume works. The color is not important. The type of candle which the volume bar represents is important. For example, this candle is perfectly fine because the volume is big, but this candle is not at all fine as the volume is huge, but there is no spread in the candle, and the upper wick is very strong. But then some people do is they make the mistake of selling, and the market just came down and it went up back up again. We don't do that like this. What we do is, when we see such candles, we try to identify support and resistance, and then at the break of those levels, we enter our trade. I hope this might be a long video, but I hope the concept is getting clear. So let's start from the first point, that the volume bar should be proportional. The candle bar should be proportional to the candlestick which it represents. It doesn't matter if the color is green or the color is red. What is important is the type of candle which is formed, and there is no such thing as buying or selling volume, because the trade only happens when the buyer and the seller meet. It's only the aggressiveness of the buyers and the sellers which is important. And then we saw that how we do not enter just at the first indication that there is something happening. For example, if there was a downtrend and we see a hammer candle with a lot of volume, we do not buy. We identify support level, and then we should identify a resistance level, and only at the breakout of these levels we enter a trade. I hope you guys have some idea about volume now, how volume analysis works. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comments or reply me in the Telegram or anywhere. And the next video will be volume profile, which will even make this video even more clear. And I think this video has been long enough. So see you guys in the next video. Thank you.